we came on about what 6 to 8 weeks ago, maybe a little bit longer than that. At that time, we had our privacy-based X402 protocol. Since then, we've delivered 3 new products. So we've delivered, the ShadowPay application, so which incorporates, ShadowWire, which is PTP, so private PTP payments or transfers, Shadow Swap, and Shadow Trade as well. So all of this operates inside our Solana and USDC shielded pools. Not only that, but the best thing about this is we actually have 14 different tokens that have shielded pools on Radar as well.
Okay, this is a lot of like foreign words and buzzwords you're saying here. So you're gonna have to break down what the shielder pool is. Like, help me out.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, what we've done is, so the shielded pool is basically you, me, Josh, and Chill all have Solana. We all deposit our Solana into this shielded pool. The shielded pool is funded by us to begin with, and then essentially our funds are, I hate saying this word, mixed inside the shielded pool. And now, say I want to send 10 Solana to, say, Josh. Everything's done internal, so we use internal balance rewrites. So basically, no one can see that I sent 10 Solana to Josh, but I know that I've sent it. He knows that I've sent it, but no one can actually trace that on chain.
And why is this important?
Well, there's a number of reasons, right? So like crypto, when I first got in, right, was pitched as this, privacy-based, protocol. I got in when, in the early days when, NFTs were bull running, et cetera, et cetera. Now, when you look at Solana, everything that you do on chain is traceable. Not saying that's a good thing or a bad thing, but, there needs to be a time where, people can have that opt-in privacy if they really want it. So, so that they can not so much hide what they're doing, but, shield what they're doing.
Cool. Okay. So you have a couple different things here. You have ShadowWire, Shadow Swap, and Shadow Trade. Maybe before we even get into each individual one, can we talk a bit about just all the optionality you guys are offering here?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we have three modules here. So ShadowWire is, obviously our shielded PTP transfers, and then Shadow Swap is private bridging cross-chain. So the bridging's done directly from our shielded pools. And then Shadow Trade. So Shadow Trade is done the exact same way. So direct trading from the shielded pool, and it's only available for the tokens that we have listed at the moment.
Kind of walk us through, like, from a user standpoint, is this going to be like an app eventually? Is this just going to be like a app on chain?
Yeah, it's already all live. So as you can see here, we have, obviously Solana, Or, Radar, Bonk, USDC, Godel, and then you can get into the ShadowWire, the ShadowWire component of things. So where you actually do your PTP transfers. So it's quite simple. All you need to do is jump in, deposit Solana or any of the other tokens into the shielded pool, and then from there you can either do a single transfer, or we made it quite simple, and you can do batch transfers as well to kind of split the amounts and decouple that amount.
Who would you say is your biggest competitor right now?
So I've been pushing this quite heavily. It's Privacy Cash. So I actually made a finding, and basically they store all transactions, all IPs, all metadata inside of a database, which kind of goes against the fundamentals of privacy.
Got it. And I guess I'm just trying to get a sense of, the demand from users for a product like this one. Have you seen, like, just out the gate, you mentioned that, you're live already. How's the metrics from the user side? How's that been going so far? What does that look like?
Quite well, but the thing about our protocol is we don't log transactions, we don't log volume, we don't log any of that, so I can't give you the exact amount. And I think that is what is needed with a privacy protocol, is absolutely zero logging. Taking away that IP logging, taking away that transaction logging, taking pretty much away all logging for privacy.
So where do you point to say, this is working or not working?
I mean, you can jump on and you can test it yourself. It's quite simple. We can go in here
And if you need to share your screen,
yeah, I think we were both trying to click it at the same time. But yeah, go ahead. And I mean, from the perspective, look, like people like to look at on-chain transactions or certain metrics to try and drive a value for, let's say, the radar token itself. So that's why, I was like, how do you know this is being used and is successful if you don't track anything, right? And I understand the reason why you don't track anything. I'm just wondering how you view that.
So I completely get that. And I think when the privacy matter actually becomes completely needed or critical, people will stop caring about metrics, because at the end of the day, like if a protocol is displaying all their metrics, then they are actually logging everything, which I'll go back to, and that defeats the whole core fundamental of privacy on chain, right? If you're using a privacy protocol, the last thing you want is for everything to be logged.
It makes sense. Do you have like maybe then some revenue statistics? Like, are you guys starting to churn revenue? Are you profitable? Are you seeing growth in terms of revenue? Obviously,
yeah, we're seeing. So obviously we take a fee. It's 0.5% of transaction fees. And I'll jump into the tokenomics side of house.
So right there, that's something you can point to and say, well, if we take 0.5% and the wallet that is capturing those fees is growing, then obviously people are using the product. Do you know how much SOL you've got in that transaction fee wallet?
We are averaging roughly between $700 and $1,000 a day.
Wow, it's pretty impressive.
It's actually not bad,
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Who are the people that like need this most, do you think, in terms of mixers? Obviously, I think previously when you think back, or not mixers, sorry, in terms of privacy.
I was going to say, please, no, not a mixer.
I got confused because I say early stage privacy was mixers, right? It was just mixers, and we saw criminals using those as some of the main user base. Yeah, when you think about people using yours, who's using your protocol mainly right now, and for what reasons?
Pretty much anyone who wants to hide their, I'm gonna say like their tokens, their balances on chain. It could be anyone. Well, I mean, obviously the average trader isn't gonna use this, right? So you're looking at like people who are looking to bridge their funds off chain privately. You're looking at the people who have tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, even millions of dollars.
Yeah, and the use case here is not always nefarious. Like part of it is if you're a size trader and you're trying to enter a position on a small token, and as soon as people dox your wallet and find out that's you, the price spikes and then people front run your trade. So that's one use case. Anytime you're paying anyone, you might be paying someone to post tweets for you or to do clips and stuff like that. You don't want them seeing what your treasury is and this and that. So there's like a number of non-nefarious use cases for this type of product, just for everyone listening. I think the reason there's a stigma around this is because the government always chalks it up to be that, but I think there's a very valid use cases for having private transfers.
Well, like obviously, right? It's like obviously your bank account, you don't go and buy something from the store and it shows your entire bank account and like purchase history.
Exactly, right?
It's just like I think it's just kind of a weird paradox to believe we would eventually live in a world where everything's on chain and just like you can see a window into your entire finance.
Yeah, you don't want to get beat up, at the next crypto conference. Like,
yeah. Well, that's exactly right. Like, and say for example, like Dom, like your wallet gets doxed, right? Say not only like your main wallet, but all your side wallets get doxed.
Yeah.
How is that fair on you, right? Basically, someone will come in and they're like, oh, look what Dom bought and sold. Why did he do that?
So maybe walk me through the process then. I'm an average guy. Maybe walk me through a few scenarios, right? I want to buy a token. I want to send money. I want to perform a swap. Like walk me through a few scenarios of what people would do where your protocol comes into play and how it helps changes things, etc.
Yeah, absolutely. So I went through the deposit before. So you can see the Solana's now inside the shielded pool. So that was through the deposit tab here. So you can use Shadow Trade. As I mentioned, we only support tokens at the moment that are listed on our platform, and this goes back to a case study that we did as well. And what we found is that our protocol basically delinks all bubble maps as well. So to kind of like counteract any nefarious use cases with Shadow Pay, we've gone about it and we've manually verifying tokens at the moment, and that's basically to stop people from getting around bubble maps.
Okay, so step one, you deposit to a shielded pool. Right now, you're free to kind of transact here through your protocol anonymously.
Yep. So you can come in here, you know, you can select, you know, Solana USDC, and then you can execute, you know, the buy/sell. So you can do both way swaps, and you can even swap between tokens. From there, you know, if you wanted to do a send, say I want to send, you know, 1 Solana to Dom, I would come in here, I would select 1 Solana, I would go internal. So we have an external option, and that allows you to basically send your funds to a centralized exchange.
And I could send you my wallet now if you want to just go through with this demo.
I mean, I can. Yeah, we allow basically the sending externally, and that's to once again offboard to a centralized exchange. So we did some testing with, you know, Coinbase, Binance, Kraken, just to basically ensure that the external transactions landed. Because yeah, what we actually do is we don't send a typical transaction on chain. So basically everything's done through our program on chain, and we rewrite it via a heap frame. So we just wanted to make sure that, yeah, yeah, we wanted to make sure that those funds actually landed in the centralized exchange wallet.
Okay, so you kind of just talked a little bit about the process that these transactions undergo before getting to their destination, et cetera, to make it like privacy preserving here. You said heat wave stuff we're not going to understand. Can you kind of maybe walk through the brass tacks of this without being too much, you know, leaning too much into the engineering jargon here?
Yeah, absolutely. So more so the privacy technical stack. Is that what you're asking?
Just, I mean, just what happens once I send my money?
So it gets routed through our Rust contract to our back end. Basically, I'll show you the process. We'll come in here, we'll send. Oh.
Send in 500 SOL. Nice. Need an address to paste in there?
Yeah, send me. You want to send me your
clip? It's in your clipboard.
So this generates a sign message. You accept that, and then pretty much everything then is executed via our backend. So it goes through, you know, the proper checks, and then it goes through like the balance rewrite, and there you can see the transfer is completed. So we'll jump out. Jump in here.
Now, does this send it? Does this transfer it directly to the wallet or to their pool?
There you go, to
inside?
their ShadowPay pool.
Okay.
So even if they're not a user, if you use that internal send function, it'll create pretty much everything that's needed for that user to essentially log in, and then they'll be able to withdraw, or they'll be able to do whatever they want inside that pool as well.
And so, on SolScan, on SolScan, what would users see? Do they just see the transaction going from wallet to a bunch of, you know, an address with a ton of transactions?
No, not at all. Let me show you exactly what is displayed on chain. Sorry, can you see that SolScan there?
No, we can't.
You might need to hit the share this tab button at the top, and it should flip over.
Ah, there we go. Beautiful. Yep. So this is what you'll see in SolScan. So you see a heap frame request, and then the input account, that's our relayer. And from there, you won't see any links between the sender or receiver or the balance that was sent either. So all you've got is basically a program log, and then we'll go into the balance changes.
So
and then,
fully untraceable.
Correct.
That's pretty fascinating. I think the biggest selling point here is, hey, how can you get this? You know, it's one thing for a bunch of people to go to your platform and use it personally, right? How do you get this on the back end integrated into everyday platforms that people use? You know, Phantom even, right? Like, what's maybe the goal and thought process there with integrating this further into just everyday activity?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have standby. So we've got our ShadowWire SDK. So it's available for anyone to use. It gives you, quite a simple. You can literally fork it, and then you can essentially build whatever you want on top of the ShadowPay infrastructure.
So this is fully open source.
Correct.
Do you have any idea of people, projects, platforms currently using this? Does that go against radar to even talk about the people that would be using it, or?
So what we're actually integrating with a solve protocol called Godel. So they're going to be using our SDK now. our backend infrastructure to essentially be able to transfer GODL completely anonymously.
And you
So
guys
God-
still retain like fees from doing this, of course.
Correct. Yeah. So we retain 0.5% fee on those transfers.
Can I tag them in the show notes? Goddle. I did. What's their @ handle? And if not, you just let me know and I'll just leave it. I
Yeah,
can't
absolutely.
spell. I don't know like how to spell Goddle.
Goddle.
And obviously you're like Aussie or something like that, so it like gets obfuscated a little further with your accent.
Yeah. I'm from Sydney, so
Sydney.
There we go.
Let's go.
Hey, I used to work in DeFi with a bunch of Aussie guys, great dudes, but man, on calls I was like asking them to repeat everything.
I know.
yeah, we do
Chill.
kind of. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I know. Chill and I have some mutual Aussie friends here in the cryptosphere.
Shout out the guys.
Shout out the guys, man.
Totally. If Irish is the worst, like a thick Irish accent, there's like Newfoundlanders are bad, and then like the Aussies are right in there.
I have no issue understanding Australians like at all,
Same,
dude.
to be
It's, like,
honest.
weird.
Well, God,
I love
don't
the
know,
accent
like,
actually.
hit me with that. No, and to be honest, I'm not Duncan at all. I love Aussie accent. I just,
Luke, curious what the BD side looks like when you're going out, finding companies that could use this this feature. Like, are you guys reaching out personally to companies, or are you waiting for them to come to you? How do you grow and scale a business? What does that look like?
Yeah, so we actually have Zen working for us at the moment. So he's
Love it.
working on that, on the BD side of house, reaching out to different protocols.
For those that aren't familiar, Zen put us into contact with Radar. He's a supporter of MTG, and he actually connects us with a few projects, so that's pretty cool. So he's fully doing BD for you and getting you guys integrated into protocols.
Yeah, exactly. So he's reaching out, obviously through his network, and then cold calling as well, or cold reaching out to different platforms, tokens, protocols that can essentially integrate our tech stack.
Is there like a specific type of project that you're looking for, or is it just any project? And then also, well, let me ask that. I'll let you answer that question first, and I'll ask another.
Yeah, so obviously we do our due diligence as well on the project, and I'll do quite a deep dive into what they're building, and especially if they have a token tied to them as well. The last thing that we want is to be tied to a protocol rugging.
Got it. And I guess I don't know if I forget if we talked tokenomics. Did we touch on that here, Dom?
We had started to get into it a little bit, but I think we maybe got sidetracked.
I don't think we closed the loop on that. So can you also kind of just, because I want to connect what you're doing on the BD side and kind of see how that brings value to the token. I think it's just a really big conversation happening now. So I just wanted to let's kind of just break down the tokenomics a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can go check out our tokenomics on radarlabs.io/tokenomics. But yeah, here's a brief rundown. So pardon me. So 20% of the protocol fees go to holder rewards, 30% goes to buybacks and burns. You need a minimum 250K for eligibility for that. And then you can see the weighted multiplier there. Oh, sorry, go.
Do you guys, are you guys, I know, let's just say as the price of Radar goes up over time, that 250K worth of tokens, that will change. Do you guys feel like that will fluctuate at all?
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, if that does happen in the future or the near future, we can obviously take a relook at the tokenomics side of house. The last thing that we want is for people to get priced out. Say 10, 20, 30, 40 mil market cap. Obviously 250K Radar becomes unobtainable for the average person, and then you obviously got then whales start boarding. So the last thing that we want is unfair distro in that case.
Got it. And I kind of like cut you off a little bit, and I'm sorry about that. When you were kind of talking about the weighted tiers, go ahead and feel free to break that down for us a little bit.
Yeah, so what we do is we do a weighted tier multiplier. So you can see a little example down there.
GMCG, everyone. A little bit of a different stream today. We have just myself. Dom is doing some last minute Christmas shopping, which is always a bit dangerous for your girlfriend. You should have that planned out months in advance. And I believe Chill is also doing some family stuff. So Merry Christmas, everyone. We have Christmas Eve tomorrow, and then Christmas Day on the 25th, as well as Boxing Day on the 26th. So that brings us to Friday. So there will be no streams for the next few days. And then we're going to get back to probably some trader radio check-in on the Monday, Tuesday leading into New Year's Eve. And then obviously as soon as New Year's is done, January, we're back to it, and it's ICM season. It's ownership token season. So I hope you enjoyed our pre-show with Radar. This was actually a really interesting conversation yesterday. They are, let's see if I can pull up their chart. They're sitting at like a super reasonable market cap. And I was actually quite impressed with the amount of fees that they're generating. So this is Radar here, sitting at about 2.4 million market cap. It was first on MCG. They were first on MCG back, I believe, in October, under sub $1 million. I think they were like 400 or 500K. So we've been following them for a little bit. They've been on the show a few times and have done extremely well in the privacy meta. But one thing I'll shout out about Radar, and that really surprised me, was their revenue and fees. So right here, they talked a bit about their revenue, and he mentioned, Luke mentioned that he was doing $700 to $1,000 per day in revenue, and they charge 50 bips, so 0.5%. So if you double that, so $1,400 to $2,000, that's 1% of their revenue, and then you times it by 100. You start to get to $200,000 a day in volume. And then if you say, well, $200,000 a day, that's about 1.4 million per week and this is on the high end that he gave, 5.6 million per month, 70 million per year in volume. Now, I wasn't sure if this was notional volume. And so I actually asked, is this 50 bits on total notional, which basically means all volume within the system? Or do they take 50 bips on the buy and sell side, right? Which would mean that their volumes are actually kind of like lower than that 70 million projected for the year. And he mentions that the 50 bips are on transfers and withdrawals. So there are two kind of taker points that they are taking revenue. So their volumes are probably less than this annualized. Nonetheless, really great product. I think sitting at a reasonable, 2.3 million. It's in the category of privacy. So we've seen like Umbra and a couple other privacy protocols get the Tolly retweet. And Umbra actually is valued a little bit higher, but they also raised some capital. So yeah, great conversation yesterday with Radar. We have a bunch of clips. I think one to keep on a watch list within that kind of privacy meta. He did announce that there was a mobile app coming, I believe, and they launched a mobile app yesterday. I thought I saw that. Let's go see Luke's profile here. Okay, Shadow Wallet Chrome extension is now live. We're excited to announce Shadow Wallet is officially available in the Chrome web store. Okay, very cool. Yes. Full show notes are here, so make sure you go check the replies of any of our shows. We do detailed notes and analysis. And if you're going to throw that into ChatGPT and create your own content, please just tag MCG because, we do the work. Just give us a little shout out, but feel free to take these notes and use them as you wish for your own, if you're doing your own research. The next thing I want to shout out is this came across my radar. Speaking of ownership tokens and MetaDAO, Zach, who is research plus on-chain data at Galaxy HQ. And as many of you know, I am a Galaxy shareholder and bull, GLXY on the NASDAQ, the largest institutional company playing in the crypto space, founded in 2018 by Mike Novogratz. So they talk about, and hence the title of the show, we expect the amount of DAO-owned capital governed through Futarchy to exceed 500 million by the end of 2026. And again, this is institutional grade research at the highest level here. Today, roughly 47 million in DAO treasuries are governed exclusively by Futarchy. And as you can see here in this image, you have MetaDAO at $11 million. You have Solomon at 6.3, Avicii at 2.6, Umbra 2.2, Loyal 1.3, et cetera, Omnipair. Now, what's interesting is they actually, and so that's their SPL tokens, but they also have LP positions, probably against their own liquidity. And then the total is over here. I apologize. I just realized this column here. But yeah, 10, 8, 9 million, 8 million, et cetera. You get the point. So these are the top kind of Avicii products. I think a way to think about some of this is the, we know their burn rate. There's a dashboard that talks about their runway for all of these. But these treasuries, so when you buy these tokens, you're actually getting the backing of these treasuries beyond also the IP and the actual business that they are creating, whether they're with Solomon creating a stablecoin protocol, with Avicii creating a neobank, et cetera, et cetera. So there's kind of like this, we are governing this DAO with these assets, but also the IP of the underlying businesses being created. So I thought this was really thoughtful research by Galaxy Research. If they're covering these things like Solomon, et cetera, that means this narrative is on their radar. And I think it will, again, they think this is going to grow 10x. And we've seen DAOs. DAOs are not a new concept. This goes back to 2016. And the first DAO that was formed on Ethereum and ended up getting hacked and was an absolute mess. I was there for that ICO. And to see how far this has come with Futarchy, which is actually a reasonable governance system. And that was one of the main criticisms of DAO is just how do you govern these assets and IP in a way that is efficient? Andrew said, Merry Christmas. Absolutely. GICM. Pepe, good to have you back on stream. Glad, I don't know if you're on vacation or where you're at, but good to have you back. Merry Christmas as well. And a King's Mentality from YouTube. Good to see you, brother. A regular on the show. Pepe, I don't know if you have any trades that you're currently open or positions you're currently looking at, but please let us know. I'm glad that you've had some recent success. Clicking into this Galaxy article, they just talk a little bit further about, oh, my apologies, Galaxy, what happened here? They talk a little bit further about the research. If you search MetaDAO, it's mentioned here. So you can go read this in Zach's tweets. I thought an interesting piece also from this Galaxy. This was their report on 2026. We know the Masari report got a lot of attention, but people are also missing. Galaxy has really, really great institutional grade research. But one of the spots that they says right at the top predictions, BTC will hit 250K by the end of 2027. They mentioned that 2026 is too chaotic to predict. I've not, looked at previous Galaxy research to see if they have done this kind of year out from the next year. It's odd to see this statement in a 2026 prediction. Understandable that there's a lot of things at play here, and I'll show you in a moment some of those macro kind of plays or macro kind of thesis. But yeah, 250K Bitcoin by the end of year 2027. So yeah, higher price than some. Some are calling for 150. Tom Lee is out here on CNBC saying crazy things. I tend to like Galaxy's research more than anything. But again, a lot of volatility, probably some gold, kind of eating into a little bit of the store of value narrative. But Alex Thorne leads their institutional research, does a really great job. So go read that. Some other macro things that I'll call out. Capital Markets recently posted that the Solana ETFs are recorded 12 consecutive days of inflows. This might be a play on the 12 days of Christmas, which I'm not really sure exactly what that references in the Christmas context. But last week, 66 million in total net inflows, 38.7 single day peak led by Fidelity's EFSL. And you can kind of see some of this here. So I think net inflows are good, but Solana is dead. And I know Game has recently put out actually a tweet, and I'm going to pull this Game tweet up here because I thought it will play into this because everyone's wondering, you know, like, are we going to find a bottom? You know, it's a game for one. Yes, here we go. All right. Everyone's kind of looking at like where do we see a bottom? And Game has this framework that he uses. So exhaustion, 4 selling ends, DCA slows or stops, the marginal seller is gone. Acceptance, price goes sideways on low volume, volatility compresses, the market is no longer trying to move forward. Absorption, repeated pushes below the same level fail, supply gets soaked up quietly, the market refuses to live at lower prices. Simple mental model, exhaustion, who is left? Acceptance, how price behaves, absorption, where the floor forms. So what he's saying is he's not sure this is an exact bottom. This is about catching the low. This is not about catching low stakes. This is about identifying when downside risk compresses and because sellers are gone. This just basically means that sellers can also be exhausted in the same way that buyers can be exhausted at the top part of trends. Sellers can be exhausted at the bottom part. And so we're seeing some of these these consistent inflows into the ETF, while, you know, we see kind of the sideways consolidation here on, you know, the majors, as well as Sol. And if we kind of get into a low time frame, and again, a lot of this can be kind of manipulation sometimes with market makers, but see a nice little buy here. So do I know if this holds? I mean, Chill recently put out a tweet outlining his thesis, and I'm just going to pull that up because I think this is a great mental model to have when thinking about next year. I mean, I'll start with this tweet here. 2026 equals 2021, but better. I mean, that would be great because 2021 was an incredible year. If anyone understands this resistance here at the 90 to 94K level, this is what obviously everyone is keeping an eye on. So if you start seeing Bitcoin climbing into the low 90s, definitely start really paying attention. There was one tweet where he gave a pretty good thesis on where we are going. And I'm just trying to think. This might be further back than I remember. So I apologize here. Right here. Okay, so he's kind of you know, if anyone remembers back to March and April, there was the Terra FUD that broke down this little channel. And this is when we started streaming and the markets basically ripped higher. Trump literally tweeted at the bottom here saying he's going to send the markets higher. Chill kind of predicted maybe the same thing might happen, right? A retest of this 84K level and then a move higher. So interesting mental model, might align with some of what the administration is talking about in terms of stimmy checks coming for average people. Likely, you know, the average person gets a $2,000 check. They're probably going to invest it or gamble it away on sports gambling. Hopefully not. But yeah, I think a reasonable thesis to say that 2026 might look like a great year. Arthur Hayes recently has talked about this as well in terms of maybe early January, we see a solid rally, March cool off, and then it continues higher. But yeah, I mean, I think some good theses to think about. On MetaDAO, there's another project called OmniPair that I wanted to shout out as well. Game was posting this, and I'm going to toggle over. We're looking at having OmniPair on the show as well soon, but really great looking chart, 11 million market cap. This is held up extremely well in this tape. So put OMFG MetaDAO project on a watch list, guys, because I think we're going to hear from the team hopefully in the new year, first thing in the new year, but that could see some traction as well. And there was a thesis laid out. And this is, okay, sorry guys, just looking for my notes. Okay, capital that never sits still. So as important as it is for us to become Solana's default permissionless margin layer and to outline how Omnipair gets there in the space, it's as critical to find the problem that made this layer necessary in the first case. Okay, just and nowhere is there truer than DeFi. Two dominant market structures, spot markets and lending markets. Both became foundational and solved real problems, yet they evolved in completely separate directions, creating a liquidity disconnect that leaves most in demand on-chain assets with access to leverage, which leaves most in demand on-chain assets without access to leverage. So this is the key thing that they are solving. They are creating a protocol, again, launching on MetaDAO, where you likely have assets that reside there, but then you can also get leverage on those positions. And if you zoom out and think of the MetaDAO kind of ecosystem as a whole, you have Solomon with stablecoins, you have Avicii with a neo-banking product where you can actually use your crypto. You have OMFG doing margin and lending and then allowing for leverage on that. You have Umbra with privacy, and then Loyal, which is allowing for the ability to transact using AI and just kind of like prompting in Telegram for it to do certain actions, and it will do it in a private way. So all these kind of products seem to feed into each other into an ecosystem of services and solutions that are all governed by MetaDAO. So interesting thesis. Look at Omnipair. We will be having them hopefully in the new year on a show, and we'll cover them. Cool. So with that, I am going to pull up the latest launch from SOAR today, and we're just going to review it real quick. All right. Mixor. All right. So we have Mixor, the latest launch on SOAR. Currently 116K market cap. The overall valuation is 2.3 million. The reason this is low is because of the low circulating high FTV. Now, of course, a lot of people ask about the DRP 1.0 model, but essentially they have to pass through a governance / review process to issue new tokens. So this circulating supply will remain small unless there is some disclosure and additional tokens are added. So with that, let's learn more here from the Juan and Jorge. Do I have it, Jorge? You guys.
Hi. Hi, how
Hey
you doing?
everyone, John, how you doing, Josh?
I'm good. I'm good. How you guys doing?
Nice,
Really well.
nice.
Happy to be here. It's a pleasure. Really proud of the work you guys have. Sorry.
Awesome. I see a dog. A dog is
Yeah.
a dog wants to be on MCG. Axon, Axion, how's it going?
Good, and you?
I'm well, thank you. You're the CMO of Mixor here. Do you want to do a quick intro for you and the team?
Yeah. So Juan and Jorge have been building Smithy tools for about a few years. Was kind of deploying protocol and all the tech protocol before Pump.Fun was released. And on my side, I've been working with Goat Index. I don't know if you heard about it before during the AI meta. It was kind of a big protocol we've built with the team. And right now, I'm kind of helping Juan and Jorge keep in touch with the trenches, like give them feedback on what the trenches need, I'm kind of a more guy in the trading side.
Yep.
And kind of help them, find tools that people need, and not just build without staying in touch with needs.
Okay,
Yeah,
awesome.
It's
Yeah.
just like the gem we got for Mixer to lead our marketing here. If you want to know about Smithy, I'm happy to introduce it in the end.
Yes, please.
From here, so yeah.
Go for it.
Well, so basically, as Sax was saying, it all started like 3 years ago when we started building Smithy. I'm actually the co-founder of Smithy, and also as well on Mixer because it's a Smithy product. So far, it all started before the whole meme coin thing with PanFan. We were like the first actual launchpad that people were using to launch tokens and so on. We didn't build our own AMM or something like that, but we were just building on top of Radium, Orca, and some other dexes. So people just came to us to create the tokens, launch liquidity pools, airdrops, etc. We have got basically since late 2023 more than 3,000 users a month so far. I've sent a link to you in case you want to check the website and so on. It's
Yeah,
one.
you can screen share if you'd like to pull it up. I will. I'm writing show notes, so as a solo host today, got a few things on the go. But please feel free to screen share.
Okay,
I'll toggle your screen.
I'm sharing the screen now.
Yeah.
So basically, this is Smithy. Like it's a tool suite where we build several tools, as you can see, to create tokens without coding, to make an order without coding, to create a pre-sale without coding, to launch liquidity pool, bundles, etc. In the beginning, it all started with only 3 tools, like the token creator, the airdrop token tool, and the snapshot tool. And then we have been building on top of that, like since 2023, basically. And since PanFan came to the Solana ecosystem, it grew even more because it expanded at all. Like a lot of people coming from Ethereum, a lot of people coming from outside of chain. Basically, we have been really focused on creating content. Like we have a YouTube channel with 10K subscribers, which is really nice for crypto and Solana content. We have a really small, really strong website with 100K views each month. This is the channel. As you can see, we have videos with, this is me, by the way, I was the YouTuber of the team. We have videos with more than 100K views showing people how to launch a token and so on. And basically, we will talk more about our Mixer, but how it started, like the whole idea of Mixer came because we were already building tools for people using privacy stuff before it became trend, like before Zcash and all the new tools coming in. We were actually using privacy tools, mixers, and so on to actually hide from bubble maps for users, bundlers, and so on. And it was like the whole thing came in, and we were like, why don't we do this now? And why don't we make a separated thing for only focus on privacy? Because my take here and something that makes Mixer unique, I'd say, is that we belong here. Like we belong to Solana. We have been here since it started. Like we have been building Solana since 2022. Basically, with we were a development agency before Smithy, building for NFT collections and so on. So we actually belong here. We understand how it works. We understand the people. We have been building for the trenches a lot of time, for the Diligence guys, for people that really are from the community. I think that there's actually a gap here for all these people, and yeah, we just decided to go ahead. I'm not working actively on Smithy anymore since a while ago, but I was talking to Juan. Now Juan is the CEO of Smithy and on Mixer as well, and we were like, let's make it. And so yeah, since maybe 3-4 months ago, we decided to think of this Mixer idea, how to execute it. We started building the first app that will be released really soon. We can give alpha on that as well later. And yeah, we made it happen. We just took what we already have, we tweaked it a bit, we built it from scratch. We made the whole brand, the whole idea, the whole ownership coin concept, how to actually become the most product user, the most Solana Mixer product used in Solana. And that's it basically. That's
So
how
if I understand correctly, your guys' background is you were running token launches essentially using these tools to optimize bubble maps and whatnot. And I'm sure people have a visceral experience with that time in crypto, because I think, you know, just statistically, a lot of those tokens did not do very well for token holders. And then obviously the meme coin kind of bubble like just imploded in general. So that's kind of like the background. Then you said, hey, we're using these tools, but they have real applications, not just like, hey, we want to trick bubble maps. These have applications in actually doing things like privacy, which is something that as a business owner or a crypto native is important for security, et cetera, personal security even. So that background, like, I don't know, how do you, now you're going into a space where you're doing ownership tokens, which means you have a legal entity. There's a legal contract between you and token holders in some form. And we love SOAR's model, but I don't know, just your thoughts on that transition from using these tools and in a time where the only use case ownership tokens didn't really exist. And it was just like memes on Pump Fund, to saying, hey, we're going to actually build a real business here. Like, can you bring that trust so that people say, hey, look, these guys know what they're doing. They've done it before. And now we're going to trust them to kind of like focus on this new thing.
Yeah, just to make it clear, we are not using these tools. We build them, the tools, Smith is our business. We build it from scratch. We are running the business. It's a business making 1-2 million annual revenue, actually. So it's an actual real business. It's not that we have been developing and launching tokens and so on. We have been building the tools for
the tool set to launch.
Exactly.
Okay, got it.
We are a team of 20 people now. Since we started.
And so this business here, Smithy Tools, makes, you said $2 million a year in revenue?
Yeah, from 1 to 2 million annual revenue. Yeah.
Wow, good for you.
Actually,
guys.
with Solana prices went a bit down. It shows less. Like it's all transparent. You can go to DeFi Llama and check the revenue over time.
Okay, and that shrimp token and that shrimp token is representing of this product specifically, right?
Shrimp was a meme coin we launched in a stream showing people how to launch. It has nothing to do actually. We made a stream. You see,
no worries. And the reason I'm asking is because we got questions on some of these things, and so we just want to go through it so people get a thorough idea of like what you guys are doing, right? And the point of this is to just build trust with the community, right? So Smithy Tools is a separate business. From that, you said, hey, we had a lot of success there. We want to really focus on something new that's only focused on a specific problem, which is what? Private transfers. Tell me a bit about Mixor specifically.
Yeah, so if you want, I can show you the app. I was just testing it right now and making some sort of screen recording. This is just a beta that we are heavy testing now. The product will be releasing soon. I don't know if I can say something, Juan. You will say later. But it's the core product to start. It will be private transfers. Really simple. You select Solana, USDC, or other SPL tokens, which make us special and different because most Mixor doesn't support just like the native coin. We support Solana, USDC, and any SPL token actually. You select how much you want to send, the receiver wallets, and then you just send, and it will go through, and you will get this send basically. I was testing with this account. This is a new fresh account that you can see that it doesn't show anything on transfer because it's hidden for sure. But let me just send another transaction here so you can see how it works. So we got this account here. We copy. Let me actually, it will leak the URL, but no problem at all. You come here, you select how much SOL you wanna send. I will put 0.1.
You can send me a 500 SOL if you'd like.
Give me the wallet.
Yeah, it's in your clipboard, you know.
Yeah. So yeah, Josh.sol, no. You put here the recipient wallet, and you just click on send. Yeah. You can see the summary, 0.1 SOL. The fees are 0.15%, which is actually the lower rate out there, I guess. You click on send.
So is that 15 basis points is the fee?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Well, I need to log in the wallet 1 second.
No worries. Hey, live demos are tough, so I rate a live demo.
No problem. You confirm, here's the transaction, and deposit transaction sent. We were in 2.9955 Solana. Let's update and let's see. You can see it just went to 3.09. So we just received it. It doesn't show on transfers. The only thing you can track is that you will see transactions for sure, but you don't see where they come from. You see an interaction with our program, which is on chain for sure. We have been using it for a while now, and you cannot see where it comes from, as you can see. So you can see that it comes from a program, from an account in the program. For those technical guys, what we did here is we take the SOL from one place, we get it into the smart contract, we use an indexer and nullifiers to actually move the funds through the accounts, and then it's released to the actual recipient address you set. And yeah, magically it doesn't show anywhere, and it's
And
not,
who builds this system? Is that one of you guys are kind of like the lead developer on the system?
Well, so as I said, we have 20 people in the team actually. We have 8 of them are developers. Some of them are working on our EVM tools. We also have tools for EVM, and we will be doing mix or EVM for sure. So it was part of our team. 3 developers have been working on this actively. We have a technical leader, which is my partner and co-founder, but he's not here now. But yeah,
no worries.
We have a lot of team doing different things: marketing, SEO, development, design, etc. So yeah, it's a great team out there.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Regarding what you said, the legal agreement and so on, something that we didn't announce, but that might show our commitment in this case with Mixer, is that we have signed the DRP deal. We can talk about that and explain to the audience that. But we have signed the DRP with the whole Smithy holding company, not just with a separated company owning Mixer, but with the whole Smithy outside company that owns the Smithy IP and Mixer IP and any other product will launch IP. So yeah, we are fully committed to this in this case. It's the first token we launch ever. We really see the vision on that privacy in Solana is a must have, and that actual people should own it, because in the end, if you are going to rely on a platform to send private transactions, you will better trust a DAO, a decentralized program, open source program that you can actually even own before anything else. So we are going all in on that path. We won't set up the DAO since now and so on. We will first make the product launch, improve the product, and then we will open source it and build the DAO. So it will be fully owned by the actual community.
Okay, so pause there for a second, because I think you said something really interesting. So this product here, which generated $2 million in revenue for you guys, your team of 20, and I guess all the IP within it is also included with Mixer.fun in that DRP 1.0 or DRP agreement with SOAR on SOAR.
Yeah, SOAR team can confirm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are those is that logged in the artifacts on SOAR by chance?
No, not really.
Checking. Okay, I see your decks, your docs, or your decks, or your docs. I'm just looking through your artifacts here. So the artifacts here are specific to Mixor, right?
Yep.
Okay, got it. I see the teams here. Okay, just trying to. All right, will you? I think that's a really interesting piece. I mean, when you form an LLC legally, what you'll do is list the assets in the business, and so I'm wondering, will you add to the SOAR artifacts the other IP that lists Smithy and the other components as well?
This is something we have discussed even with SOAR, if we should actually call the token Smithy or not, because as it is involved in the whole company. But we wanted to make things simple. I guess in crypto and overall in business, you gotta keep it easy. So it was much easier to understand. We are doing a privacy protocol. You own the protocol, and that's it. and actually involving everything. I think it's good that we actually add that to the artifacts and more deep information just for those that actually make their own research and so on. So we gotta work on that, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely recommend it because artifacts are like the kind of like the disclosures, and this is kind of how we move this ownership token thing forward versus just, you know, as Smithy gets acquired and all the token holders, there's no tie there. That's the whole point of this, right? And so I'm excited about Mixor as well, and I want to chat about this a little more in a second, but just zooming out, you know, again, we've seen so many acquisitions where the token, like Padre, et cetera, the token holders just get left behind.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we're trying to solve. So.
Yeah, for real.
Cool. So Jason here, I've seen other try Mixor thing, but all have been large. Why is yours different? I don't know if you want to comment on kind of what makes Mixor special. Is it your technology approach? Give us some thoughts on that.
Okay. X, you want to go ahead or should
Yeah, of course. So there's a few things that we're trying to make for Mixor to be different from the other protocols out there. First of all, as Jorge said, we're building a DAO. This means down the line, the product is going to be owned by the community, and it will basically, they're going to decide what we need to build or what we need to update, and they're going to be the one holding the tokens. And also, we're trying to be a bit more technical and a bit more towards the trenches. So we're building a mix, a sort of tornado cache that allows you to not only, Jorge showed you an example with Solana, but it's basically going to be like that for any SPL tokens on the blockchain. You'd be able to transfer privately. You will also be able to multi-wallet transfer. So you can fund a bunch of wallets with any tokens you want privately without showing on the blockchain. And yeah, so it's kind of in the building process, and Solana and USDC are going to be the first tokens we release. But yeah, down the line, it's definitely the goal is to have any SPL token.
Yeah, on top of that, I would like to add that also, as I was saying, something that makes us special is that we have experience, like real experience building in Solana. I didn't see any actual, team with long track record building this. Like there are huge protocols and teams building privacy, like Umbra is huge, and so on. There are a lot of players. But doing a Mixor itself, like for transfer and infrastructure and so on, like the things we are planning, I think we are the actual only one that with a vast track record, I'd say. So on top of all these new features and things we're going to implement, the ownership, the DAO, the open sourcing, I guess this is really relevant, like the team background and the actual ability to execute properly and get people to use their product. In the end, we have more than 3,000 users a month in Smithy. We have the experience to make a protocol work and get revenue and scale. So we plan to do the same with Mixor. It's not just about a good coin or a good product, a beautiful logo, branding, whatever. It's about bringing users to the platform. So that's what we do in the end.
Yeah, I'll say you have nice branding as well. This, people on crypto Twitter like to see great branding. Okay, cool. And do you have any plans for other protocols to basically use your protocol and they kind of act as a front end that plugs into it? We had Radder on yesterday who's doing this through an SDK. Obviously, Umbra has talked about an SDK. Just want to hear your thoughts. I'm getting a lot of feedback, Jorge, just so you know.
Yeah, so it's the plan. Like if you think of the roadmap first, we want to build our own product and bring people to the product to make trust, to make it open source, and then let people build on top of that. One of the things that I think that completely underrated on ownership coins is that it's like equity, but it's liquid. So it's like you have the perfect tool to actually incentive people to build on top of you. I think that no one, at least as far as I have seen, no one is using that to actually get talent or buy a company and use your ownership tokens to incentivize those guys. It's like a stock options, but they are liquid. So it's I think that's part of our plan to make this happen, and not just let other business to build on top of that, but actually make owners and the community build on top of Mixer infrastructure once it's open source, and incentivize them with the actual token, which is, as I said, like stocks, but they are liquid in the market and you can see its value. It's not the same saying, okay, I will give you 5% of my startup and wait until we have a liquidity event or an IPO, that giving you, I'm just saying an example, 5% of the supply of Mixer, and you see the value growing. And when you give value to that community and to that token and to the company, your value grows with it, and you see it, in the screen, actually, and physically. So I think that's completely underrated in ownership coins, and I think that's part of the path for the future.
Yeah, and are those prospective employees or contributors, are they getting tokens today from any current allocation, or are those tokens that you'll do a proposal to SOAR and mint additional ones?
We don't have any token. We don't plan to have any, and that will be decided by the DAO itself.
Oh, that's at the DAO level. Sorry.
Yeah.
For Mixor.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So then the token that I see here through SOAR, what is that owning? Is that owning the Smithy
everything
entity? So it's owning everything, and the DAO is within that entity, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Got it. So you're saying that you'll have another token that is just for Mixor, the product, at a later date?
No, that's Mixer, and that's the only thing for Mixer, but it also owns the Smith company.
Got it. Okay, I'm just trying to understand the structure.
Yeah,
so that,
no problem.
People
it's just like when we talked to SOAR, they were like, okay, you need to set up a new company called Mixer LLC, for example, and that will be the one signing the DRP, or you can take the whole holding company that owns Smithy and owns Mixer and put it in the DRP. And we decided to go with this option, that actually the whole Smithy holding company that holds Smithy IP and Mixer IP sign that. But it's also under the same token. There are not more token, not more anything.
Any plans for token utility into Mixor? We saw Radar had done things like revenue share with token holders, both stakers, but I believe also buybacks on the token. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
Well, my take, at least, is that buyback doesn't work at all. Even less in the beginning of a startup. Like, on Smithy, we have been bootstrapping since the beginning. Imagine we should actually pay back part of the revenue to anyone else instead of growing the team. So for me, it doesn't make sense at all, even less in a product that is starting. The only utility is owning the protocol that will lead to actually the revenue will go into a DAO treasury that will be managed by the DAO. So that it's control over the protocol. That's the utility, and that's kind of a revenue share, but doesn't go directly to holders, because that will become the token into a security. So that's something you don't want as well. So the revenue will go to the treasury of the DAO, and the DAO will control that. So yeah, it's just aligning incentive. That's the whole thing of ownership coins, I guess.
Okay, cool. I got a couple minutes here. Talk to me about the future here. So you have a beta version of this product. You get 15 bips as your fees. It's just for transfers, peer-to-peer transfers, or is there more like private trading? And I think you said multi-wallet too, right? Multi-wallet transfers?
Yeah, so the core will be this first product, and we will be building on top of that with other features. Like, in the end, we will start with this because I feel that it's the easiest product market fit. And then we will expand to other kind of utilities. It can be trading, doing airdrops privately, or whatever thing. In the end, as you have the base of the transfers with, like, the Mixer itself that is untraceable, you can do anything. So yeah, this is the first product. Then we will build some other tooling, like as we did with Smithy, and finally it should become an infrastructure where anyone can build on top of that.
Yeah, I see for Q1 2026 in your SOAR listing, you have leaderboard, season 1 airdrop, app v2 launch, KOL marketing partnerships, holder private chat, expanding EVM audit, I guess. What just walk through maybe some of this promotional stuff for Q1.
Okay, Axel, you wanna go ahead? I have more loads on that.
Yeah. So let me pull out the docs on my side too. Docs. Roadmap, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So basically protocol audits. Obviously, that's a must do for any serious protocol building on Solana. And we already have one planned with can't remember the name. Maybe Juan remembers the name. It's a auditing firm.
Yeah, Jorge had a meeting today morning. I think is
one says Halborn.
Yeah, Harvard will be the second audit.
And I have 1 minute here, so I want to try and just wrap this like vision for Q1 what's coming for the next quarter.
Yeah. Well, just like Roman says, about the audits, we are making through, let's say, 2 audits first. Incentivize is the first company we are signing, and then Halborn. We want to take the Halborn audits when the product grow with the new features. We are launching the beta with only sold direct transfers, but we are escalating that with USDC and SPL tokens as well. And we are adding features like multiple wallet withdrawals. We are adding a schedule also. So when the program is that robust, we are going to the Arbor audit. It's a trustworthy company, well known on the crypto community. The leaderboard thing and the airdrops season 1 are some kind of incentivize the use of the platform as long to token holders. The things about KOLs and partnership is like the part of our go-to-market stuff. We are not doing a hard go-to-market. We are trying not to too much KOL or that paid stuff. We are doing it organically and non-stop, like we are used to do on the Smithy. Our background with the Smithy allow us to make a clear vision about how to run this thing with Mixer, like the team framework, the go-to-market framework, our business development. We have a strong network as well, so we are confident we can escalate Mixer as well during Q1 2026.
Awesome. Well, I gotta pause it there. Look, guys, I think people were asking about this launch. They sent us some message. I think you guys addressed a lot of the questions that were out there. Smithy Tools, you guys have made up to $2 million in revenue on that. So you've clearly built businesses in the space before. I definitely would love to kind of keep in touch in a few months and see how Q1 goes. And if there's any specific traction, please DM MCG and we'll, try and feature some of that. Things we'd like to see is, volumes going through using the product, revenues generated. If your guys are pivoting ideas or pivoting micro pivots to make the product better, just let us know and we'll feature it. But other than that, love the SOAR model. Love that you signed a DRP agreement, and good luck. And we'll see you in the new year.
Thank you so much for having us, Josh. Okay. It's been a pleasure.
Yes.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Josh.
Merry Christmas, guys. Yep. See you guys.
Happy holidays.
Yep. Cheers.
Bye.
Cheers.
All right, guys. That is Mixor, new launch on Soar. I think, look, at the end of the day, MCG here, we want to provide a platform for founders to just kind of share their viewpoint on these new launches. Obviously, we are very close to the Soar team, and they are doing due diligence and signing legal agreements with teams like this. I advise them that if they have additional information on their business, because they mentioned that all the Smithy IP, which had generated $2 million in revenue for them, that IP was included in the DRP agreement. So I advise them that they need to upload kind of something that discloses that, because I didn't see that in the artifact. So again, we love this model because it's more transparent. There's disclosures for holders, and I hope I asked the questions that you guys wanted to hear, because there was a lot on, surrounding this launch. So there you go. Remember, you can find the artifacts right down here on the listing page. And with that, I'm going to tee up the next segment. So CPT yesterday dropped some follow-on update around their Lifesaver, their product, and we have the legend Roman here who's joining us today to just kind of break that down a little bit. Roman, how you doing?
Yeah, good. Well, I can hear you, so that's good. And it seems like you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Wow.
For the first time, this is like groundbreaking that we're having no IT issues. I love it.
Right. Like I've been testing it. I've found that only the phone seems to work. The webcam doesn't. That's still broken.
Yeah.
So just gone with the phone this time round. Yeah, let's talk Lifefinder. Well, here it is.
Wow. Okay, that's the actual device, eh?
Yeah, so it's high-vis red. The original was black, but I think we've gone with high-vis red for the hazardous occupation PPE sort of. It makes more sense, I think, in high-vis red. What do you think?
I think so. I mean, if you're to have it on a hard hat, let's say, you want something that stands out, of course, that, hey, I have this, device on my head. So talk to me a bit about this, because I did some DD and there was people that did a little due diligence. This is a firm, I believe, in Scandinavia that makes these
in
devices.
Sweden. Yes. No,
talk a bit about them.
Yeah, we're super excited about this because, as you guys know, there's so many CPT applications, so many use cases, and we'll never be able to roll out CPT in the scale that we want to without great partners. So I've been talking to Lifefinder for quite a while, and we've basically gone with a distribution partnership. As well as further down the road, we're gonna upgrade everything to CPT. How exactly it works? So they have their product. They just launched it. Basically, they have some customers already. Some American customers actually as well. These are sort of very large roll-on, roll-off ships. The stuff that you drive your car. You park your car on the ship. It's got like 14 decks of just
like a ferry, right?
Yeah, it's like a ferry, exactly. Yeah. And that's very complicated, complicated work environment. Like people can wear these plus an installed infrastructure on those ships, which allow much faster responses to critical issues like fires or like a man overboard situation. Everyone is basically wearing a professional AirTag, effectively. And so you have a really granular understanding of where everyone is, where everyone needs to go for muster, and how to handle a crisis. So I think the stat is per year, you're more or less getting 60,000+ serious incidents at sea every year. And technology like this, well, specifically this, can really prevent a lot of fatalities, serious injuries, all that kind of stuff. So this is a very interesting sensor because it's a motion sensor. So if someone falls into the water or falls off a high point, it's going to alert the bridge. It can even alert, let's say, a control room somewhere else in the world. Like, for example, if you're a fleet manager and you have 100 ships out at sea, you can literally see the safety status of every single one of your employees, which is very important, especially for like insurance claims, not to mention saving lives. So it's already being deployed, and to accelerate them with our team, we will deploy this solution, and after we've deployed it, we are in effect building our own customer base for the future. So let's say today we know that we can power these, but perhaps the CPT isn't ready to go into it yet, because of course you need to build up supply chain and all that. So let's say that we'll be ready to deploy these CPT enabled in, say, 6 months time, 9 months time. But we can go out, start selling them, build the demand for this thing to become CPT, right? And so you're kind of building your own runway. Usually companies pay a lot of marketing for that, but we're actually going out and actually generating revenue to build our own demand. So it's quite an ideal solution for us.
Yeah, so I have a couple of questions here. So Life Finder, so maybe I'll start with this one. Like, do governments mandate through regulation that people have these devices, or is this more kind of an optional, like, hey, we get a discount on our insurance kind of thing if our employees have these?
Yeah, so because this is so new, there is no government like you must get this solution on board. There isn't that yet, but it's gonna become the standard. And it's not us saying that. There are like credible people who are running fleets of ships who are saying that. You'll be able to find it on our communication in the coming days, and also on the Life Finder website. This is going to become the standard for keeping people safe at sea, but also in other hazardous environments, like working in a warehouse, working in a factory, even emergency responders. You know, you think about like
an avalanche. We use avalanche beacons out west in Canada snowboarding. It's actually a requirement that you have to have an avalanche beacon on you.
Right, exactly. And same with like firefighters, for example. If you're building a new building and you want to make sure that your firefighters, in case something terrible happens, you'll be able to identify exactly where they are in 3 dimensions inside a burning building. So it's keeping people safe. On top of that, you know, you can also keep consumers safe. You know, you can give these to school kids. You can give these to elderly people. It's really going to be a vital part of keeping people safe. And the interesting part about it is its privacy mode. You know, Europeans are always concerned about privacy, effectively. And this is an intelligent system. So it only starts to track what you're doing, your vitals, and where you are during an emergency. Before an emergency is announced, it's totally private. There's no data tracking.
Right. And it uses sensors to determine like what an emergency is. So I think you talked about impact. There was one where, is it moisture triggered as well in the ship example?
No, actually it works out if someone's fallen from a high place using motion, but also if it's like quite intelligent, because if you imagine you're falling off a very large container vessel, you have the fall, so the acceleration, but also you have the fact that a crew member has gone out of range of a beacon.
Yeah, of course.
So it will be able to like say,
The
oh my gosh,
ship's
someone-
going
yeah.
by and you're like,
Yeah.
you know, waving at it. Yeah. Okay,
yeah,
got
yeah,
it.
and it's really important to like every single second counts
Yeah.
for this kind of stuff. And of course,
Absolutely.
finally, you have the button where you can press it, and then it starts making an alert. There
Yeah,
you
it
go,
made
like
a nice
that.
red.
I don't know if you can see that, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's a bit
Needs
low
some-
battery. This one, it needs some CPT.
Yeah, it needs some CPT.
Yeah,
So there's a few technologies here that make these practical. So one
Mm.
is some sort of connectivity that it connects to something. Obviously, something has
Yeah.
to power it, and then there's
Yeah.
the device itself, which has logic that makes kind of all this happen.
Yeah.
Can you just talk about those different pieces? And then I'd
Yeah,
love to
so-
hear the vision for Impulsor and how it fits in that.
Yeah. Oh no, that's a great question. So regarding the hardware, I mean, obviously the software is intelligent and it has like a on-premise access point, and then it can transmit data to a fleet manager somewhere or a manager in some sort of building, office somewhere. But in terms of a hardware, battery-powered wearable, which we will upgrade to CPT at some point, so you never need to worry about changing your battery. It's a huge benefit. And then to support the location data of where these are, where people are, you have to deploy these location beacons. So it's basically like a box about this big, and you mount it in every compartment where you need to track someone's location. So you can mount in an engine room, in a corridor. If you're talking a work warehouse, you can mount it on a wall in the loading bay, right? So you have to basically deploy this infrastructure of beacons, which allow for the tracking of and the communication of these wearables.
And is it
So-
using like Bluetooth, low energy to make that connection? What connects? it to
Not
the beacon?
Bluetooth, but it's using radio frequencies to
okay.
communicate. Now, moving forwards, what we're going to be doing is, instead of just having those beacons for communication, those beacons will actually be charging these.
Okay, there. All right,
With
here now
RF,
we get
with Advent.
into it, folks. Now we get
Right,
into it.
Right. So the beauty of it is, let's say you're a ship owner. I go up to you, well, a private yacht owner. Okay.
Yeah,
You own a private yacht,
owner.
right? You
Yeah.
have 30 crew, and you have two guests that you really like, VIP guests. You give
Yeah.
them these, and you say, you know what, keep these on you. Wear them wherever you want, on your wrist, whatever. If you fall in the water, we'll know immediately. If there's an accident, we'll know immediately. If there's a fire, we'll know immediately. So we deploy that, right? Then we'll go back to those customers and say, you know, what's your user experience of LifeFinder? They'll go, you know what, it's amazing. The only pain is changing the batteries. We'll say, what? We actually got a solution for you. Let us come back and upgrade you to CPT.
Mm-hmm.
So you see how we're building our future customer base, while at the same time generating profits by actually partnering and distributing and moving ahead.
So the ideal solution here is that the station or the beacon that connects to these is also not only transmitting information, but also power, basically.
Exactly.
And what part of your product suite is that? That's not optical power. You're using
that's RF. That would probably be RF. That would probably be RF. So radio frequency. We have RF solutions. They can power these things at like 30, 40 meters. So we know it works. It's just like it takes time to and quite a lot of investment to put it into these.
Yeah. Wow, 30 to 40 meters? That's actually a pretty big distance. And is there some limitations like line of sight? Like if there's like a huge metal engine in front of us between me and the beacon thing, would that obviously would
stop them. So that's why the infrastructure and the solution as a whole is done custom per ship, because you need to work out where are the high risk
Right.
areas.
Yeah.
Where do you deploy these communication beacons in the first step? And then, because if it can communicate, it can power.
Yeah.
Right? Because anyways, data is power, power is data. That's just how it works.
Right.
So you'll need to deploy that that hardware in specific locations, high risk areas. And then when we do the power upgrade, yeah, you'll get more or less the same coverage.
Right.
Technically, you get better coverage once the power goes in, because the power increases the amount of energy put out into the environment. But it's more or less going to be the same. So yeah, absolutely, inside a ship, you'll need to have several beacons to get the coverage that you require.
Right. Okay. So LifeFinder, so back to this relationship with the LifeFinder team. Are you guys like co-branding this as LifeFinder, CPT LifeFinder? Is it going to be under Impulsor and they're just the contract manufacturer? Like, how do you think about this?
Yeah. So in the first phase, we want to go, well, you know, Sang mode. It's
Sang
fast,
mode, of course.
It's relentless. It's low drag, right? We just go quick.
Low drag, I love it.
Yeah, so we have to go quickly on this, and the quickest thing is to absolutely take what they have right now and deploy it ASAP, because they're right at the beginning. The market is like open for us. We just got to go quick. We had already conversations about like co-branding and you know, maybe changing the color from high-vis red to a cool black. I don't know. There's lots of cool conversations going on behind the scenes, but Sang mode requires that we go quick and fast, and I think that makes a lot of sense. After a while, of course, we're going to have to start opening these up, putting our CPT in, changing the casing, etc., co-branding. All that's further down the line, but the first phase is we just have to get these out as quickly as possible. And that's why actually we have part of a team, Tim, which you guys haven't seen so far, but Tim has worked in the global supply chain shipping industry for 25 years. And he's the guy leading this project. And yeah, you know, so he's already talking to big ship suppliers, you know, the sort of guys that basically go in and fix an engine room or install new, I don't know, AC unit, whatever. They have a huge portfolio of products. And these ship supplier companies, they supply thousands of ships.
Yeah.
So this is how quickly we want to go. This is how quickly Sang mode requires us to move forwards.
Yeah.
And we
so
have
let's zoom out on Sang mode. So CPT or Impulsor is focused on wireless power transfer. You have 3 different methodologies: magnetic resonance, radio, and image or optical. That's right. Yeah. Those are the 3 technologies that you guys are developing and perfecting and commercializing. What you're saying is, hey, you know, we have an opportunity to get this really first like practical use case of this actually in practice. We can solve a specific problem around powering these, you know, whatever you want to call IoT or edge devices. Here's our killer use case: safety. There's already someone that we have in our team that knows this industry really well, has relationships, can kind of work with LifeFinder and say, hey, look, we can kind of get this into place. We're going to start the process, but we want to co-develop these, you know, within, did you say 6 months to have the energy transfer for integrated? Is that correct?
I mean, I think, I mean, my hopeful self of giving myself a little bit of time is 6 months. But of course, the development time is quite more condensed. I just want to, you know, give myself a little bit of breathing room of 6 months. But I mean, factually speaking, we can power these today. I know we can power these today.
Oh, really? Okay, so this is what I was interested in.
No, we can power these today. Like, absolutely, with all of the methods. But to open these up, you can imagine once you go to product, you need to, like, every single component here is perfectly made en masse with molds.
Yeah.
So to change those, we first need scale. So let's get scale, and then bring that CPT in as an upgrade, and that allows us to, in effect, double dip.
Yes, and what Roman's talking about there is during the manufacturing process, if you can create molds and put the plastic in, mold it, stamp it, that's an efficient way of manufacturing, and it brings down the price per unit in the manufacturing process, and that's where you make your good margins there versus building them kind of small batches, which take time and more specialized kind of labor per individual device. And does LifeFinder sell these devices already today, or are they kind
of? Oh yeah,
going to
absolutely.
market?
The first customer is actually an American customer. So they've got one who's already using it. They have, I can't say which shipping company, but there is one massive shipping company which is onboarding it right now.
Yeah.
So that's imminent.
How many ships
news.
do they have roughly? Do you know how many ships?
Well, if I say that, then you know who it is.
Well, I mean, come on, All right.
I can't say that. Say that.
Yeah, no worries.
But I can say this. Like, from Tim's work, from our work, we have access to thousands of ships.
Yeah.
Well, potential access to thousands of ships. So it's huge. Yeah.
Yeah, and each ship probably has a crew of like 50, I would assume, at least.
It depends. It depends. I mean, there is some talk with some cruise lines which have a lot.
Oh yeah, that would
a lot of crew.
Oh, and all of their passengers. I mean, we've seen issues where people have fallen off. There's a young 4 or 6-year-old girl that fell off earlier this year, I believe, and the father jumped from the 13th floor to go save his daughter. Like that, this happens all the time.
Yeah. So, of course, yeah. I mean, we're talking about professionals, but let's also not forget just consumers. Maybe you would go to a cruise line, like a luxury cruise line which does Antarctic expeditions, and you go to them, look, if someone falls in the water, what happens? Well, they'll probably die in like 90 seconds. Well, give them one of these and sell them a higher ticket.
Yeah.
Do you want a ticket that probably saves your life, or you're gonna save,
and
like,
even mandate anyone under the age of 18 that has to have one on a cruise ship. Okay, this makes a lot of sense. And the relationship between Impulsor and LifeFinder, like, do you have a contract with them in terms of like, hey, we're going to co-develop this? Like, is there a revenue share, or like, how does the sales process actually happen? I'm shipping company, Roman. I come to you. I'm saying, great, I want 1,000 units. How many of these units am I buying? Like, walk me through kind of how you see a potential deal be rolled out.
Okay, so let's take the example of you're a fleet manager, right? So you have, I don't know, let's say 300 ships.
Yeah.
That you want to upgrade to the safety system. You'd basically come to us. We would reach out to you with Tim's knowledge, because Tim basically knows everyone in shipping, for example. And we would start a negotiation. We're the official partner. So between us and LifeFinder, we have an agreement which is basically along the lines of, depending on how much work each party does, that's how we split the margins. Because it's very complex to deploy anything onto like a solution like this, hardware and software onto a ship. There's like 20 decks maybe potentially on a ship, or 14 decks, hundreds of rooms. You really need to work that out. So, for example, if the LifeFinder guys are going to spend, I don't know, call it, 1,400 hours inspecting every single ship, and we spend 2 hours making the deal, we have a flexible model so that everyone is fairly compensated. Equally, at the same time, if it's the other way around, then it goes the other way. So we have a really clear understanding with them on how, like, that revenue, how that margin is split.
Yeah.
And that's like really fair for both teams. The Live Finder guys are super good guys. We really love their approach, and so we're really comfortable to work with them because we know that we will do the right thing, they'll do the right thing, and I'll split the margin based on the work that's been done from both sides. Having said that, moving forwards, once we start integrating CPT into these, the relationship might evolve or progress to, you give us XYZ components, we put in AVC components, and then we would, sell it. So it's given the complexity of the deal, it's a changing situation, but we more or less have an agreement that we would allocate the margin depending on how much work each party provides.
Yeah, no, I think that's helpful color. I mean,
yeah,
we're trying to, ownership tokens, Web2 businesses coming on chain is kind of a new thing for people, and we're trying to help people understand like the mechanics around some of these commercial arrangements. So I appreciate
and regarding the costs for one ship, we're talking, between $30,000 to $60,000 to onboard to install the hardware.
Yeah.
And then a recurring cost of whatever for the service, for the software package, all of that. So every customer would be a substantial amount of profit
right. And
revenue for the business.
What do the units cost themselves, these little tags?
That is not something I can talk about right now, because we never sell it as per unit.
No
we sell it as a solution. So I can't go into that too much.
Okay, no worries. Just seeing if there's any questions in chat here. Let me just briefly look at CPT on X to see if there's any questions. I don't know if you had any further thoughts here you wanted to just expand on as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is a super exciting product. This is one of the applications that we're going to be handling. We have a lot more smart sensors and IoT devices that we're about to release. And we have a lot more partnerships that we are going to be announcing imminently. So it's an exciting time, and I think January is going to be pretty busy.
Yes. So maybe talk about that busyness, because I think a lot of people, so let's say in crypto, like you see like a stable coin protocol, for instance, and you'll be like, oh, they have like 10 million AM, they generate like, 50 bips on their transaction fees. They do this much volume, they can back out a revenue, and oh, this is the, what they share with the equity owners or token holders, let's say, as an example, right? When it comes to looking at something like Impulsor, it's like sci-fi Star Trek kind of, out of this world kind of tech, even though it's not far-fetched, like Mitsubishi Industries and, DARPA, like everyone's looking at this. Clearly wireless energy transfers is obviously the future. 10 years down the road, I think that's the future. I think today people are kind of looking at the different things you guys are rolling out and information you're putting out there, and trying to kind of like ascertain like what is all this worth, or like what is the potential here. And I don't know if you have any kind of thoughts around how to think about that with people. I mean, you're kind of in the weeds now. Here's an example. I feel like this is a good first use case for wireless transfer. Like I instantly got it when you said, oh, well, the transmitter station will talk to the devices, but also send power to the devices. To me, that makes a lot of sense. Maybe if you're just kind of like package up the strategy here, I don't know if you have any thoughts on my comments there.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be Sang mode unless we're trying to basically outflank the entire industry, right? Like that's what we're doing. There's a lot of smart sensor companies. It's a huge market. PPE is also a massive market. So from our point of view, like IoT smart sensor market, basically they have all the same problems, which is if it's wired connection, can you really run a wire to everything? No. If it's battery powered, when will the battery run out? And if there are, I mean, the current projections of it's going to be like 1 trillion IoT devices deployed in the world in 2030 something. Imagine changing 1 trillion batteries every like 5 years. Catastrophic, really. I mean, it would be terrible. So in the near future, I mean, starting from next year, there's going to be 2 levels of IoT smart sensor devices. Ones that are CPT, WPT enabled, and ones that aren't. And there's only going to be a handful of companies who are able to roll this out in a good way. We're speaking to like really big companies as well. But, you know, with big companies, they don't move quick. And that's why a partnership with someone who is quickly moving, like LifeFinder, is so important for us. Because next year, maybe we're handling this. Maybe the year after, they will release a new wearable, you know, and that's how it keeps going forwards. Perhaps those same customers, those same ships will say, well, you know what, actually, I'd really like to put a temperature sensor in this room. And we go, well, perfect. Put it wherever you like, because that beacon can power everything in this room already. You don't need to.
Oh, interesting.
You don't need to like rip out the wall, figure out the wiring. I mean, obviously, most people who are listening to this,
it just needs an RF receiver on whatever the device is.
Yeah, that's it. And that RF receiver is literally like a size of a coin, if not smaller. Like they're tiny. Probably most people who are listening right now like have never ripped out a wall and had to change a wire to a smart sensor. But you know, there's like 100 wires, and you have to like unroll this thing from like 3 rooms away. It's awful. It's awful. Much easier to just have one beacon transmitter, and you've then put your sensor wherever you want. So again, like in that industry, there's going to basically be a watershed starting from next year, which is going to be sensors, IoT devices that have CPT and ones that don't. And
will you guys manufacture the RF transmitter station as well?
We will assemble it. We're not getting involved in the manufacturing of the components because there's only like one country that can make the amount of electronic components that are required, the complexity, and then deliver it in a timely manner, and that's China. It's like everyone's making stuff in China. We can assemble it, quality control it wherever we want under our own banner to ensure quality. But really, most of the electronic components are gonna have to be made in China, and unless there's some massive reindustrialization of Europe and the US, it's most of the components coming from China. We're gonna assemble it, quality control it, make sure it works in Switzerland to the highest standards possible, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, that's I'm glad we broke this down, because I think people are trying to figure, like, is this, you know, a safety company now, and it's just, this is the one product? But what we're really talking about is like, here's a first use case, something we can commercialize today or the very near future. And once you have built this infrastructure in terms of the ability to transmit power wirelessly like that, you can add additional products to the suite. And for you guys, you're saying, look, we don't want to be product manufacturers. We want to ultimately license the technology and capability to these products, you know, maybe partner on the manufacturing here and there to ensure quality and that these systems work coherently together.
Yeah, I mean, for things that are low cost or fairly low cost, we want to offload that to a manufacturer. For things that are like super high importance, high cost, we'll do that ourselves. But for things that are volume, you have to manufacture you have to outsource manufacturing for high volume things. It's just the nature of business. Now, I think at the very beginning, we dropped a presentation, and in that presentation, I don't know whether it's highlighted enough. We're not a foundational researcher of contactless power transfer, wireless power transfer. That's not our business. We are a business that basically takes those fundamentals, improves them, and puts it into solutions, like real world solutions. We're not going to tie ourselves down to just being a research institution, because there's plenty of great ones like out there. No, we're going to take everything that's known, improve it to the use cases that we need, and then we're going to deploy, because that's where you make money. That's where you drive value. And we're positioning ourselves as close to the end user as possible, because the closer you are to the end user, the more margin you receive.
Yes, of course.
Which again drives value for the business and for holders.
Yeah, and the market opportunity here is massive. We talked about a number of use cases even that are beyond just the PPE safety market. There was a question I received from Andrew. He said, thoughts on if the CPT tech be paired with a QI charging standards so that QI charging devices can be powered. And I believe I did a Google here. This is a universal wireless power standard from the Wireless Power Consortium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that is totally unrelated. And actually, this is a key fundamental part of our business strategy, our vision. So we use CPT because it's contactless power transfer. What those standards are talking about is wireless power transfer. Wireless power transfer mainly revolves around induction right now. And as you know, with induction, like when you put a phone on a charging pad, you need contact. You still need physical contact. It's super like near field. Contactless, we want to stress the contactless for marketing reasons, because there's no physical contact at all. So those standards that were mentioned, they are for induction primarily, from memory, from what I've read. It's induction primarily, if not only. Whereas CPT, what we're doing is far field RF, optical, and MagRes as well. So it's a separate technology.
Yeah, so it's not like your cell phone sitting on the pad. And if you watch other MCG content, we've talked about this at length, that this is wireless power transfer. And you said at 30 to 40 meters, which is 120 feet for our American friends, which is a significant distance. Yeah. You're good. I'm wondering if I don't know if you have any final thoughts on the LifeFinder. I don't know if you want to call it a partnership or commercial arrangement, but I wanted to ask you a bit more about this engine that you guys.
The engine. Well, okay. So wrapping up on the LifeFinder, it is a partnership. Funnily enough, on the call with their CEO the last time that we talked about our agreement, I was like, look, shall we call it a commercial venture or something? Like, no, we'll call it a partnership, because it requires a partnership. If you're not partnering with these guys, you're never going to deploy it, because it's so complicated to deploy some sort of solution like this. That's why it has to be a partnership to be successful. Otherwise you'll fail. I mean, I've seen the technical drawings of the ships that we are talking to right now. I mean, it is breaking my brain. I mean, it has to be a partnership minimum. But having said that, we're super excited about it. We're gonna effectively make margin to build our future customer base, and then in the near future go in there and upgrade it to CPT. So it's super exciting.
Got it. I like the strategy. I wanted to talk about the Fortitude engine a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know how far along this device is in terms of like the materials you guys are using. And I don't know if you can just elaborate on, like how far along is this product, and what materials like make this talk a little more about the engineering with me.
So what you saw was, so we have in manufacturing right now, we have a predominantly aluminum, space grade, aerospace grade aluminum some titanium components, and high-end lenses, some Inconel components. So majority of it is going to be high-grade 3D printed metal components. It has to be 3D for the complexity of the components. What you saw was our engineering model, which is functional, but it's an engineering model. So the product is going to be, and it's in manufacture now, is going to be metal, because it has to sustain very, very high temperatures for an extended period of time. So what you saw, engineering model, which is functional, but the actual product is going to be predominantly metal.
Right. And I actually saw, I think, a frame of it where it was this, what seemed like a metal component over the impulsor shroud there, but it seemed to have like these blocks on it or something.
All right, well, okay. I can't say too much about that. The patent attorneys are gonna freak out. But basically, look, it's we will release more information on that.
right.
There's some real eagle-eyed stuff from you there. Actually, there's a modesty curtain out front. You see that frame that is standing on. So we had the engineering model, right, built, and then I brought it to the patent attorney, and he said, Roman, you're gonna need to figure out like a little curtain or modesty curtain or something to hide some of those components. So I was like, oh my God, you know. And he said, when are you planning to go on that podcast?
In 15 minutes?
Yeah, like tomorrow. And he's like, oh my God, print something quick. So we put that together. Yeah, so yeah, it's always interesting that people are really looking at all the details, and I really appreciate that. And we're gonna have more information on each one of those. Yeah.
All right, we won't get into that too much. I just saw it and I was like, I thought I'd ask, because I think beyond the information, I think the engineering is interesting to me, right? Like, again, it's you're creating a new transportation or thrust system. I don't even know how to describe it. And like, it's just fundamentally crazy to think. And yeah, so maybe like, I don't know if you're able to say this, but have you shot a laser at this specific one here? Or like, have you shot a laser at them in versions of it in general?
So versions of it, yes, we know, but basically the way the roadmap is this. We know the laser is tested and works with the cells from that we're going to be manufacturing. There's special components, unique design. We know that works. That's on the side. The engineering model works. We know that. We tested each component. We tested all together. It works. That specific one, the engineering model, it cannot take 1,000 watts plus of very powerful laser, but we know it works. We know we tested it because we tested it without a laser. We tested it with another optical setup. So that's why it's optical CPT, because it can work with a laser for extreme range, or it can work with effectively LED spotlight, but a very powerful one. So the laser isn't strictly necessary, but we know the laser works with the cells, and we also know that the components all work together at those higher energies. That's why it actually works, because we've done some lateral thinking and have engineered the engine to actually work at those higher temperatures. Something that a lot of people can't do right now. Sustained transfer. Components tend to get very hot, and when they do, they break. But in this one, it doesn't.
Wow, that's amazing. And so when you're heating or transferring power through the system, like what, because thrust is a very simple concept. You ignite something or expand gas in a chamber, and then it comes out the nose cone, pushing the air back and your thing forward. This is like physics 101. And there's, Elon talks about like there's formulas for this to whatever. But what is the thrust? Like obviously with gas, it's about the gas expanding and then going through the nose cone.
Yeah. So towards the front, which we didn't mount on this engineering model, but towards the front, you basically have a series of fans, compressors, that will I'm trying to figure out where my lawyer's going to kill me or not, but basically there's very hot compressed air coming shooting out the back,
Right.
and it can self sustain thrust without continuous electrical supply from a battery. So you're going to need a battery to start it up, and then it moves over to just running on laser, on incoming laser.
Okay, and that is providing the power or the heat.
The power is going to provide literal thrust for the glider drone to fly.
Right. Okay. And so the energy comes in, it's like superheated. Is it superheating that gas and then putting it through a
Ridiculously hot.
turbine?
Yeah.
Okay. Like we're talking like crazy hot. Yeah.
It gets toasty.
Okay. Yeah.
Gets toasty. Yeah.
All right. Wow, that's wild. So it's not a chemical reaction. It's more of like a thermal reaction.
It's thermal. Yeah. So, for example, I think there was I forgot who, but someone did a long range laser transmission, and they were running at 20% efficiency. So you can imagine if you're 20% efficient in converting light to electricity, then 80% is basically thermal energy accumulating on your device. We're using that thermal energy in addition.
Right. In addition. Okay.
In addition,
cool.
Yeah.
All right. I won't peel the layers back too far here.
No, it'll over the course of the coming months, weeks, there'll be a lot more information, and we're also really excited about those cells that will be manufactured that going to really revolutionize this.
Yeah, I mean, I told Dom, like, I'd love to be in person. If you guys are doing like a grand demonstration one time.
Oh yeah, I think that would be great.
Let's go out to some testing range and wherever you want, just let us know and we'll be there. And we'd love to kind of see this happen one day.
Yeah.
Okay, very, very cool. I mean, those were kind of all the questions I had, I think, on this. I'm just going to check the chat real quick. Roman is a legend. Chill. And yeah, Andrew, we did get to this. It's not induction, it's a contactless power transfer. Induction is basically kind of just,
QI charging devices can be powered. Yes. So actually QI devices can be powered. So we're actually so they can be powered if that's the question. It's not part of that standard, but let's say, so I'm sorry, I'm holding the phone now. My battery's about to die. Need some CPT. But basically what we're developing actually is a smart connection between our magnetic resonance, and the receiver, which then has another induction transmitter element like above it, so it would work effectively. So you can do the far field with magres, and then it would power the induction ring, and then it'll power those QI standard devices.
Cool, Roman. That's all the questions I had. If there's any in the chat, guys, now is your time to discuss. Otherwise, the next time we hear from you, I mean, will it be?
It'll be soon. It'll be very, very soon, because Sang mode requires us to move quick. we have more or less agreed a deal with an agreement with an AI provider as well, AI company as well. So that's imminent, effectively. So I think you'll hear a lot from us.
Sang Mode said gifts under the Christmas tree this year, guys. So who knows?
Indeed.
Anyways, Roman, this is a great chat. I love talking about the engineering here and kind of unpacking it. I think people see this, they think Star Trek. This is, you know, wild. Like, how far along and how well thought out are these components? And clearly very sophisticated, and it's been, you know, tested and put into practice. It's just a matter of getting to that commercialization, right? Getting it into the hands of useful applications. I love just the breadth of applications of this kind of stuff. I mean, it's really broad, you know, IoT, all sorts of different applications, drones, everything going on.
If I may add,
yes,
actually,
please.
maybe the way to think about it is we're very broad, but quite shallow. That's the strategy, to be broad, to cover as many industries as possible with as many solutions as possible, but to be fairly shallow in terms of supply chain. You know, offload the cheaper, like, mass component manufacturing to other suppliers who are, you know, experts in their field. Bring it all to our assembly point, workshop, and then distribute, sell, commercialize a broad array of products, of technology products.
Awesome. Well, I'll leave it there. I think those are great last words. Roman Park, thank you so much for joining and talking engineering with me. I appreciate it.
Thank you as well, and pleasure to be here. We'll be back anytime. And
absolutely. Hey, I
have a great
love these
Christmas.
30-minute drop-ins, by the way. These are great. So feel free. MCG is your platform as well, as you guys build and commercialize this. I think this is significant, something really fresh and novel in crypto. And it's we're excited to see some of the announcements coming. But yeah, Merry Christmas, and you know, we'll see you.
Can I ask you one question?
Yes,
actually,
please.
just one question before I go. Star Trek or Star Wars?
I mean, I grew up in the Star Wars generation. I wasn't old. I was too young for Star Trek. But Star Wars definitely was the thing. How about yourself?
Me too. I think Star Wars. Maybe we'll have a little chat in the holders chat about Star Wars.
I think so. I really like Dune. I think Dune has become a really cool, if you could kind of put it in that basket.
Oh,
but
yeah,
Lucasfilms, they sold Star Wars to Disney, and honestly, Star Wars just has never been the same. Disney, I think, got the quality up. You know, the explosions are much grander, and I think there's something there. But yeah, Star Wars just hasn't captured it like they did in the 90s. So
I think I'll have to agree with you on that. Not to draw too much hate from a younger audience, but I think I'll have to agree.
No, you're
with you
good. All right, Roman, you have a great day, and Merry
You
Christmas.
too.
See ya.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye. All right, guys, that was Roman from Impulsor. Man, a lot covered there. A lot of this is an Apple in the making. You know what? Like, I like seeing this kind of stuff. These are companies that would be just private for so long until their valuation is crazy high. I think demos, you know, I'm still looking to kind of see demos, but partnerships where they can put this into practice, you know, show revenue and demand for these products is a really great strategy to move forward at this stage. Because, you know, in the early days, people don't know what they need. And when you have something like wireless power transfer, it's so kind of out there that you almost have to say, hey, we're not only going to show you, we're going to solve a specific problem for you. And then you'll kind of get the, oh, you know, we get it. So that's kind of, I like the strategy. But yeah, the engine, go listen to that. There's a lot in there about the engine that I think we talked at a high level in the first one, but really dug into some of the specific engineering around it. And it's, again, way more well thought out than I think a lot of people can see kind of from what they see on X and on the internet. So yeah, guys, go listen to that full segment. Otherwise, I'm logging off today. I just want to thank you guys for such an amazing year. MCG started at beginning of April as a casual live streaming with Chill and I, and we've added Dom along the way, and then really doubled down thanks to the support of Meteora in August, and have since built out this media platform. And I watched Thread Guy on Bankless the other day, and what Bankless said is that they had not grown last year, and Blockworks had not grown. CoinDesk has not grown. So legacy media in crypto is really struggling. But what is growing is this new wave of live stream media, things like us, things like Thread Guy, where people are being entertained. They're hearing from founders. They're getting real-time information. Like the things that Roman talked about on the live stream is shared to everyone live at the same time. Whereas if they were tweets, there's a lot of bots and quick click traders that can take advantage of that before anyone else. And so I think this format will continue to grow next year. And I think MCG is going to continue to grow and, again, cover the ownership token and ICM as ecosystem as it develops. And in January, we're going to get the Clarity Act here around tokenized equities, and the SEC is going to provide actual legal frameworks for crypto companies and token issuers to tie their token to meaningful business outcomes and equity, and have some sort of legal framework for that, where as historically, a lot of these tokens have just been meme coins that companies issue. So really excited for the future. We're doing interesting things at MCG. Please give us a follow here on X. Go subscribe to MCG YouTube. If you're Chinese or part of our Chinese community, go search MCG_ZH to get all our content dubbed. And I'm really excited. We're going to have a couple more streams maybe before the new year, but I want to thank everyone for tuning in over the last 6 months and making this a space that we can all kind of call home and show up, something different than meme coins. So I hope we have delivered it. Andrew, GMCG, absolutely. The only stream I watch. I know, absolutely. We might stream on Twitch soon. I tried on Kick. Was kind of not really successful. YouTube's been pretty decent. X is where our main audience is, but we got to get into the Gen Z a little bit. The Gen Z investors, save them from the meme coin trenches and compete with Thread Guy a little bit over on Twitch. So that's probably the next move in the new year. Other than that, improvements on stream quality is still top of mind. So we're looking for talent around video editing, cool video edits. Obviously we talk about things that are more higher on the information side, and we want to make that as entertaining as possible. So if you're really good at video edits, we have a massive library of really, really solid takes and of projects that have done really well. Think about Avicii. We covered at 4 million. It ran to 100 million. Pay AI, we covered that at 4 million. It ran to 75 million. And these are just things that, if you're a young person, you're looking at, like, how do I take advantage or position myself in these markets? It's like, look, there's a whole bunch of stuff. Like, I'll even prediction markets, a lot of it's kind of gambling and stuff like that. But what we really want to talk about is startups and businesses that are choosing these token routes and tokenizing their equity. Because to me, that's the future. That's how you build wealth, is investing in things that are real, have fundamentals, have revenues, have real employees, have real legal obligations, and are just kind of leveling up the space. So appreciate you guys. We'll see you in the new year, and stay safe out there and have a Merry Christmas.